This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the almost comically small HP Veer running WebOS. HP bought Palm, so WebOS is now in their purview, and this is the smallest of a trio of products that they're introducing this year. There'll be a there'll be an HP Pre 3 coming this summer, which will be about the size of the Pre 2 that we all know and love, and there'll be a tablet as well. This guy is obviously designed for folks who like really small phones. Let's take a look at this compared to the iPhone 4. iPhone 4, not exactly a huge phone among touchscreen phones these days, and you can see, well, this is just gosh darn a lot smaller. You could stack about two of these up and equal about the size of the iPhone 4. It is a little bit thicker because it has a slide-out keyboard, but it's actually a fairly slim phone, despite that too. And for something really comical, here in comparison, we have the 4.5-inch Samsung Infuse 4G, also available on AT&T. Who is this phone for? Well, obviously folks who really detest large phones but want to get into the whole touchscreen fun. We assume that this is for folks who are working with a feature phone right now and they want to get into the whole smartphone scene. And indeed, despite the teeny size here, this is a very capable phone. It runs WebOS 2.12, and it has an 800 megahertz Qualcomm Snapdragon CPU. This is no slouch of a phone. In fact, that's a heck of a lot of horsepower. The drawback, and we love WebOS, and we certainly appreciate the fast CPU, is the tiny 2.6-inch touchscreen that is 320 by 400 pixel resolution, same as the Palm Pixie. That means a lot of the games that I had in my list of games from the Palm Web Store, now HP Web App Store, don't actually run on this. So you're going to have to look for things that are really designed for the smaller display. It's not that it doesn't have the brains to run the games, it's that a lot of games are resolution specific and they were designed for the higher resolution Pre 2. Another drawback of a teeny screen is it's a bit harder to control things and obviously to see things. Text is really, really tiny here. Now we have cards in minimized view. This is the standard WebOS thing. BlackBerry with their playbook did not invent this user interface. This has been a standard part of WebOS, so all my running applications are running as cards. If I tap on one, for example, here's the web browser looking at our own website, you have unreadable text and a reasonably good version of the layout of our website. Sometimes things do get scrunched and some borders disappear in the process. It has an accelerometer so you can turn it sideways, and thankfully you can pinch zoom. But at 320 by 400 pixels, you're not going to really see a lot on screen. So this is not going to be your main phone if you're seriously into using the web browser or working at Word documents or Adobe Reader. Believe it or not, there's a PDF reader on here, there's an Office suite, there are all those things. So yeah, it's definitely capable within the limitations of the screen size. Since this is WebOS, if you want to make something go back to being a small card size, you just do that. And if you want to quit it completely, you just throw it off the screen. Gone. You've just quit the application. Pretty fun and neat. If you want to see all of your applications that are installed, you tap the little arrow. This is all standard WebOS goodies, and you can scroll sideways to the three categories: apps, extras, and system. And if you have more apps, for example, they scroll up and down as well. As you can see, I put a lot of apps on here. People give the WebOS store a hard time for not having the selection, say, of the iPhone application store or Android Market, but a lot of everybody's favorites are here. We have Pandora, we have New York Times, you've got Facebook, Kobo, Weather Channel, a lot of useful stuff here. I don't think you're going to say, oh man, there's nothing I can put on this phone exactly. You can see down here I have a bunch of little notifications. We have unobtrusive notifications, and it's going to tell me about things I need to take care of over here. And one big question, how do you enter text? Well, as standard with WebOS phones, they always have hardware keyboards. So you slide it open and you've got this teeny little bubble-style keyboard that we've seen in past Pre and Pre 2 kind of devices. And it's really, really small, folks. No kidding. But if you've got some fingernails that really bite into that rubber, then you can actually type reasonably well. If you're a guy with big hands, not so much. I'm not sure this is much of a big macho guy's phone anyway, but you can type on it. It is possible. It is tight. Let's take a look around the phone. It's pretty unique because it's so small. There is actually no room for a headset jack or a standard USB port. You can see this port here with the electrical contacts. This uses something like Apple's MagSafe connector. The USB cable is thus proprietary and it's magnetic. So it kind of just clamps on like so. And it's held in place with a magnet. It's a pretty strong magnet, as you can see. Not that I suggest you carry your phone around like that. And even more bizarre is the eminently losable teeny headphone adapter. You can see there's your headphone jack right here. Here's the contacts. And this too clips onto the phone. Now I'm sure that looks better on the black phone. This is available in white or in black. But otherwise you've got a little bit of a tumor growing out the side of your tiny phone here. And again, this is also pretty tight. As we continue to take a look around the phone, besides the interesting magnetic connector here, this is your power button to wake it up and power it on and off. Here's your ring silencer button. And under here, this is the SIM card slot under this little rubber door. It takes a standard size SIM card, which is pretty amazing. They didn't go to teeny size SIM like the iPhone 4 did. You got your little lanyard loop mount here. And here's your volume controls. Not only is this guy very small, he's also quite light at 3.6 ounces. It has a 910 milliamp battery that is sealed inside. There's no way to open this. That's it. It is sealed in there. Battery life, though, not too bad. It's not driving a very large display, though it does have a fast CPU. But battery life is pretty decent on it. On the back here we've got our speaker. It's a pretty loud speaker for a small phone actually, and we've got a 5 megapixel camera. This uses the extended depth of field, kind of interesting fixed focus kind of camera that we saw on the Pre 2. It takes not bad shots though. The phone has Wi-Fi 802.11b, G, and Bluetooth, and a GPS, and it comes with AT&T Navigator. And here's your usual AT&T Navigator interface. Again, it's a pretty small screen. If you're driving, I'm not so sure you're going to be wanting to stare at this little guy. And there you have exciting 2D maps, and you can switch to 3D view over here as well and get traffic information. And there's your 3D view. The display is very sharp and nice and colorful, and it's reasonably viewable outdoors. It's not super impressive outdoors, but it is usable. And overall, especially given the amount of resolution we're cramming into 2.6 inches, it does look quite sharp. We'll throw that one away. Since this is a WebOS device, you can sync this with just about every service in the world, Exchange, Gmail, you know it, and do cloud syncing. Primarily that's the way you're going to get your PIM data in here. You can take a look at the calendar view right here. You can go by day view, by week, and by month with today's date circled. And here's the Contacts application. Obviously you can have caller photo ID over here. It's pre-populated with a bunch of useful AT&T numbers. And you can call somebody from here, send them a text message, send them an email as well. And we've got a YouTube player here as well as Amazon MP3 store. And you've also got Google Maps on board. We'll take a look at the YouTube player. Now AT&T calls this a 4G phone. They've called it the HP Veer 4G. Is it 4G? Not so much. Even though we see the HSPA Plus up here, it has HSDPA 14.4 megabits, which is faster than the iPhone, which is a 3G phone, but it is not HSPA Plus. Sorry. So now we'll try out a video. And this is over AT&T's network. And we have the inescapable Justin Bieber looking very sharp. And that is maximum volume right now. Well, so it looks really good. And yes, we do have flash playback in the browser right here. It's an interesting thing. If you tap on a flash video to play it, it brings up a sort of WebOS-like swipeable area where you can bring up the flash player controls, which are probably really hard for you to see because this is teeny. Let's see. And if you hit close box and you're back into being able to control the browser session itself, tap on the video and you can bring up those controls. Again, you can see a little bit larger now that we've got 360p selected, and we can actually go up to say 480, and we can select full screen mode. Which may or may not work. Well, not much happened there with full screen mode, but bring that down a little bit smaller, and we'll hit play again. And you can see it's actually handling the video playback decently. There's some frame drops there at 480, but so there's flash video playback in the browser. Of course, you can use this to make phone calls, and it's very compact to hold against your ear. This is what the dialer looks like here, easy enough to use, and you've got access to your voicemail, to your favorites, and to your contacts, and all that kind of good stuff here as well. Voice quality on this is very good. I know some reviewers have complained about some local echo because the dual mic and the earpiece are so close together, but we really haven't heard that when the phone is closed and they're close together. Of course, when you open it, you're giving them even more space, and it might feel a little more natural against your head because this guy's kind of teeny. If you do hold this primarily right against your ear in closed mode, outgoing voice quality is still good. Reception is also pretty good, though. Right now you can see our bars are a little bit low. AT&T is having an iffy day here, but in general, this is pretty good reception, better than the Pre-2 did. So that's the HP Veer 4G on AT&T, certainly one of the smallest smartphones on the planet, but yet it's very capable if you can live with the small size and the somewhat difficult to control on-screen teeny little items. It is usable, it's workable, and it's only $99. It's going to be available May 15th, and some retailers are actually going to be giving it to you for free with a 2-year contract. Hard to beat that price. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Visit our website for the full review.